Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Chris. Whether you're a new friend or an old friend, I'm glad you took the time to stop by today for a little visit. I have a lot of things I'm excited to share with you today, so let's go ahead and we'll get started. The first thing I'm going to share is just some of the statistics of things that I've been doing over the last month since my last video. So we're going to sort of divide it up into whips, new starts, finishes, and full finishes. So since I last saw you, I've worked on 7 different whips. I had 1 new start, I had 2 finishes, and technically I had 8 full finishes. 1 individual project and then 1 series where there were 7 parts to the series. So we'll start with the whips. My 2 focus projects from the month of March. The first one, actually before I even do that, let's do my stitch along, which is the mini tree hugger stitch along, done by Carolyn Manning Designs. So every month we get a new tree. So I've completed 3 of them. I'm just stitching this on some 18 count Aida with the called for DMCs. So that is my March tree, this one right here. So that's 3 of the trees done. She has actually released the April tree already, but I haven't started it yet. So that's been really fun. It's really exciting to sort of see what the tree is going to be each month. She has provided like a layout to do them all together. And she actually put a border around it, but I haven't put the border around right now because I want to see sort of the placement of the trees and whether it needs the border or just how I'm going to finish it when I'm done. But I know the tree for April goes here. So I'm assuming there's going to be 6 on the bottom and then 6 on the top based on the requirements for sizing that she gave us initially. So that's my mini tree hugger cell from Carolyn Manning Designs. So then I picked 2 focus projects for the month of March. The first one that I picked was my full coverage artsy pattern called Walk with Dog. It's based on artwork by Leonid Afremov. So that's what it's going to look like when it's finished. Whether that'll happen in this lifetime, I'm still undecided. I'm just stitching this on an 18 count white Aida with the called for DMC. If I have before pictures, I will try and insert them. I may or I may not for all of these projects, but so this is where I'm at with this one. As you can see, it's a big piece of fabric. So it's going to be a big it's going to be a big piece when it's finished, but the colors are just beautiful. I really like how it's looking, but there's a lot of confetti. And if you're not in the right mood, it is hard sometimes to stitch in it when you're having to change colors so often. But I really love the artwork and I look forward to having it finished someday. I actually was on Artisy's website the other day, thanks to Shiloh, Xstitch MD, I believe. I know that's her name on Instagram. I'm not sure if that's the name of her channel or YouTube channel, but I'll link her down below. But hi, Shiloh. She had mentioned about Artisy having a sale, and she has been working on one of the Leonid Afremov pictures as well. So I was on there looking at stuff, and I think I had like 2 or 3 more in my cart, and I thought this is crazy. I'm gonna finish the one I'm working on first, so I took them back out. But I did buy something else that I'll talk about at another time. But anyway, so that is Walk with Dog, again on an 18 count white Aida with the DMC. My other my other focus project for March was my Gifts for All stocking, which is a dimensions kit. done on the 14 count white Aida that came in the kit with the called for threads. So that's what it'll look like when it's finished. Very pretty. And this is where I'm at. So the toe's actually completely done. As you can kind of see, the only thing left is that whole part of the stocking, I guess the left part of the stocking, is all Santa. And then he's got like a pack on his back. You can see there's like a little doll in his sack that he's got on his back. That's what this spot right here is. So, but I've just started Santa's hat there. So really having fun working on this month. I've made a lot of progress. Hopefully I'll have a before picture that I can insert to show you how much I've got done. And then there's of course a ton of back stitching, and there's some specialty. I think you have to make like a gold braid that becomes the reins on the horse's bridle and stuff. So it's going to be really, really pretty when it's done. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm really happy with how much progress I've made. Today is the last day of March, so I'm going to work on it later today, and then I'll be picking some new projects for next month. But I've really enjoyed that. So those were my two focus projects, and again, I'm a little bit sad because Walk with Dog didn't get maybe the attention it should have. I had some other stuff going on this month as far as my Etsy shop and that goes, that was taking up some of my time. So, but yeah, it's going to be around for a while, so I'll get lots of opportunities to work on it for sure. So then we're going to move into some of my weekend projects. So every weekend I spin my wheel and pick a random project that I just work on for Saturday and Sunday. So one of the first ones that I spun was my Cotton and Twine November subscription box from 2019, which are these fun little trees with the cute little birds on the top. And this is a, oops, sorry, upside down. So these Cotton and Twine subscription boxes, they come with everything you need. So the fabric, the threads, the pattern, of course, but also it comes with all of the finishing materials as well. I'm not sure if I'll finish it the way they suggest, or if I'll turn it maybe into a flat fold, or maybe I'll even frame it. I'm not sure yet, but. So yeah, so I have one more tree after I finish that third one, and then it will be done. So that shouldn't take too long to finish. And then the last one that I worked on was my other sort of, I call it a semi-full coverage, which is Behind the Bit by White Willow Stitching. So I call it semi-full coverage because everything that's white around that horse is not stitched. So everything else is stitched. And again, this was just a weekend one, and I didn't get a ton done on it. I'll try and put in the before picture, but I got a little bit more, right? And every stitch is a little bit a little closer to being finished. So that's what he looks like. Very cool. Can't wait to have that one finished and hanging on my wall. So those were all of my whips that I worked on. I did have a new start, but it also became a finish. So I will show that to you. In fact, it's fully finished, so I'll show that to you when I do full finishes. I did have another finish. So you'll remember I was doing the Lizzie Kate 4 seasons, and I was working on winter. And I changed up the color a tiny bit on this. I've done it on a 28 count Monaco that I dyed with a RIT dye with the Called for Weeks Dye Works, with a couple of substitutions. I did the house in the recommended DMC conversion. You can see the one in the photo is quite a bit lighter, and I just wanted it a little bit more saturated, so I did the DMC color. So that's finished. So I've done 3 out of the series. I have 1 more left. I have spring left, and then I'll have to decide what I'm going to do about finishing those. So once I do that, because I finished the Celebrate series, I think I only have 2 other series that are in progress. So I'm hoping to finish 1 or 2 of those up, and then I can maybe start another new series because I have a few of them. So that was my finish, and as I say, my other finish is fully finished, so I'm going to show that to you in just a minute. So while I was off on my little hiatus from Flosstube there for a few months last year, I did have a few finishes. So I sort of had decided, instead of just showing all these finishes to you, I was going to use the videos as a motivation to fully finish them so that I could at least try and show you 1 with each video if possible. And that way I'll get them finished, and they won't just be sitting around waiting to be finished. So one of those ones that I completed last year was Madame Chantilly's Gifts for Santa. And I finished it the other day. This was a frame that I had picked up at a thrift shop. It came with a different embroidery project, which I didn't really care for, but I liked the frame because it was kind of a unique size, and I thought it worked pretty good with this piece. So, yeah, I haven't done, like, I've done a bit of framing, like self-framing, probably more Ada, or I think I've done like 1 Monaco. I did do 1 linen, but it was the linen you buy at Michael's, which, I don't know, seems to have a little bit more stability. I don't even know if stability is the right word. But I had framed it and didn't have a lot of issues, but I found this linen, I guess because I'm used to with the Ada, like pulling it really tight and pinning it, but with the linen, it's really easy to get your, like the threads all wonky, you know, if you pull too much in one area, not in the other. And then especially with those little dashed white lines across the top and the bottom, it was really obvious if I didn't get like an even tension all along. So it took me a few tries, and I'm pretty happy with how it ended up. Whether this will be its permanent home, I haven't decided yet, but for now, I think it looks cute in this frame, and it'll allow me to hang it up next Christmas. But so yeah, so that is Gifts for Santa by Madame Chantilly on a 32 count Picture This Plus linen called Legacy. I think it's pretty cute. My other full finish is, as I said before, the Lizzie Kate Celebrate series. The final one in that I did this month, that was my new start and my other finish, was this particular one called Independence, or you can see the word Liberty there. This is the whole series, the Celebrate with Charm, I think it's called. So I live in Canada, and this is obviously based on Independence Day, so 4th of July in the US. Lizzie Kate does on her website, there is a conversion done by a Canadian shop owner, I think. And it basically changed the word Liberty to True North, but everything else was the same with the colors. And I like that, and I like these colors, but it still read more as 4th of July than Canada Day to me. So I did my own conversion and changed it up. I actually took the blues out and did more red and white to make it feel more like Canada Day to me. So once I finished that, I was motivated and decided to finish the whole series. And this is the one I've maybe suggested in past videos. I kind of had an idea of how I thought I would like to try and finish it. So that's what I did, and I'm really tickled with how it turned out. So this is what I've done. This little wooden frame I was lucky enough to find on a freebie table at a stitch day that I went to. It was designed to go, there was a pattern that you stitched that looked like a little quilt, and then you were to hang it on this little frame. But anyway, so I thought this would be a really fun way to display these. So it's kind of like a Rolodex, so they're all on here. So that's the Thanksgiving one. There's a Halloween one. And yeah, so I've just finished these. I put a little piece of fabric at the top with the eyelets, and then I've just sort of finished them with a piece of fabric that I've wrapped around the front and top stitch to give a nice finished edge. But that's the Halloween. There's Christmas. There's Valentine's Day. St. Patrick's Day. Easter, so that's the one that I have displayed right now. And then here's my conversion. So just to show you again, this is how it was designed. And so this is my Canadian conversion for the Independence Day. So it's now Canada Day. Anyway, I was really happy with how it turned out. I just went through some of my hand-dyed flosses that I had on hand and picked a couple of reds. I kept the sunflowers the same, and obviously the whites and the golds, and I rearranged these little squares down here a little bit to balance out the colors a little bit. But anyway, I'm really, really happy with how that particular one turned out, and I'm really happy with how the whole series, how it turned out with the finishing. You know, it's always fun and rewarding when an idea in your head turns out to actually work in real life. So I do have another Lizzie Kate pattern that has the 4 seasons. I apologize, I didn't bring it up to show you, but I'll show you in a future video. But I believe, and it's just the 4 seasons. It's different than this one, because this is 4 seasons, but I think this one might be a little bit big. The other one's a little bit smaller, that I think I could finish them the same way, and so then I could intersperse them. So when Easter is over, so you want to flip it from Easter, but all of a sudden it's Canada Day, and that's a long way away. That's July. It'd be nice to have the spring one, so then I could just insert the spring one there until I get to summer or to each of the holidays. So that's my plan, my future plan for that. So so those are my full finishes. So the next segment I usually do is a future start. So there was a pattern that I purchased when I was at StitchCon in 2019. It's Silver Creek Samplers, and it's called Eye on the Sparrow. So it says, "Do not worry, birds do not sow or reap, yet the Lord God feeds them." And I just really like that sentiment, and I like that little bird. I like the colors. So I'm going to do that on another piece of Picture This Plus 32 count Legacy. And the interesting thing, when I pulled the colors, because it's all in DMC, so when I pulled the colors, here they are. So it's interesting because, Worry looks very red to me, but the color for that is this 832, which looks more, well, I don't know, when you look at it on the camera, it looks closer. It looks much more brown, rusty color in real life. And the words on there look very blue to me, but this is the called for color, which again looks different on camera than it does in real life. It looks much more gray, darker gray. So I haven't decided whether I'll just trust the process, and in fact I probably will at least start stitching with it and see how how I feel about the colors and decide if I'm going to switch them out and pick something that, you know, for the words it's a little more bluish, and for that rusty color something that is more reddish than brownish. Because yeah, like even the berries in this heart are done in that brown color. So, but anyway, so that is a future start. So I'm putting that in a bin with other future starts, and when I get my whip count down a little bit more, then I'm going to throw those future starts into my wheel. So, you know, some weekends or some month for a focus project, one of those might come up, and I'll get to start those. Okay, so that's my future start. As far as haul goes, I do have some new stuff that I bought, but I have decided, I think, rather than just show you a whole bunch of new stuff all at one time, I'm gonna continue doing like future starts, so you'll see some as future starts. And then I have some plans over the next few months that I purchased some things to sort of work into those plans. So I'll share that with you in a minute when I start talking about plans. So yeah, stay tuned. There will be some haul to see in the future, and yeah, I'm pretty excited about some of the stuff that I've purchased. So stay tuned for that. So that leads to plans. So my plans for April are to continue what I've been doing so far this year. You know, I'll spin and pick 2 focus projects that I'll work on during the week, and then every weekend I will spin and pick a project just for the weekend that I'll work on. But beyond that, there's a couple of things I kind of am working out for the future that I'm going to share now, just to talk it through a little bit, and in case anybody wants to join in. So the first one is May. I've never participated in Mania before. I did do a Christmas in July one year, which was fun. So I'm going to do my version of Mania, and I'm going to do Merry Mania, because you probably realize, seeing some of my whips and stuff, that I do have quite a few Christmas things. Like I've got 2 Christmas stockings on the go, and I actually have another one on order. You know, I've got Christmas Village, I've got the, you know, Silk Stitching app Christmas 2020 Stitch Along started. So I have quite a few Christmas ones. So I thought it might be fun to focus on those and try and get some of those finished. So I'm going to put all my Christmas whips on a wheel and then in May, I think every 2 or 3 days, I'm going to spin the wheel and, you know, just pick one of those and work on it for 2 or 3 days, and then, you know, switch to another one. I'm going to throw in a couple of new starts, which I'll show you in upcoming videos. And I'm even going to throw in, because it's kind of cross stitch adjacent, I actually have a diamond painting kit that I bought a number of years ago when they were just starting to become a thing. It's not a big one, and it's like, you know, the classic red Christmas truck sort of thing. And I haven't started it, so I thought it might be fun to pull it out or put it on the wheel, and then during Merry Mania, that might be one of the projects that I work on as well. So I thought that could be fun. The other long-term plan I've been sort of thinking about and working through is July is my birthday month, and there's a couple things I want to do in July. One of the things I'm going to do, and I heard about this through Heidi Cran, who's a Flosstuber. She had shared that for her birthday, she starts celebrating a little bit early, and through the year she makes a list of things she'd like to do to sort of celebrate her birthday, or during this time that she celebrates her birthday. And I forget, you know, what her date of her birthday was, but it was near the beginning of the month. And so she would start at the beginning of the month, and every day try and do something off her list to celebrate her birthday. And it might be things like, you know, going to a movie, or, you know, just little things like that. So I'm going to do the same thing this year. My birthday is the 10th of July. So starting July 1st, I've already started my list of things I want to do, you know, like going for a hike, going out for breakfast, you know, doing a little movie marathon with popcorn, you know, that kind of thing. So just a lot of little fun things that I enjoy doing, that I'm going to make it purposeful, that I do that leading up to my birthday. But the other thing I wanted to do during my birthday month is, you see, I have a couple of horse projects, and I really do love horses. Horses were a big part of my life during high school. I worked at a riding stable, so every day after school, every weekend, there's a group of us that we, you know, went to the barn, and we, you know, cleaned stalls, and we helped tack up horses for lessons. We had lessons ourselves. You know, went to shows, we went to events. We were part of Pony Club, went through the whole ranks of Pony Club during about the 5 or 6 years that I was there. So it was a really, really big part of my life. So I have a strong love for horses. And I have a couple of projects right now with horses in them that I just love. I love pulling them out and working on them. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to spend my birthday month celebrating my love of horses. And I'm going to stitch on my horse projects. So just like in May, I'm going to create a wheel with all my horse projects on it and spin the wheel and work on those horse projects. So the whole month of July, I'm going to work on projects that contain horses who I love. So those are some of the new purchases, because I purchased a couple of things that I want to add into that rotation. And yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought for a minute. I'm going to have a hashtag, and I'm going to call it Stitch All the Horses Sell. So if you're somebody that loves horses like I do, and you have some horse projects you want to pull out and you want to work on them in July when I'm working on mine, that would be a lot of fun. You know, if maybe you're not a horse lover, but you have some samplers that have horses in them that you want a reason to pull those out and work on them or start them, feel free to join in. You know, Stitch All the Horses Sell. And yeah, let's just have some fun stitching on projects that contain the beautiful creatures we know as horses. So those are kind of my future plans. Thank you for letting me share them with you. So a couple more segments for today, and then we'll be done. The first one is a peek into my Etsy shop. I will link my shop down below. I have an Etsy shop where I sell project bags and notions folders. But I've been doing a lot of hard work this month, working on some new items. So sort of perfecting some prototypes and trying out some different ways to do things. But one of the things I'm going to add to my shop are floss organizers. So you probably saw when I was quickly showing you this one. This is one of my ones that I'd made for myself that I was trying to figure out the best way to do this. Don't look too closely at it. There's a lot of imperfections. But this is one that I've made recently. So I make them this size so they will fit in my project bags that I make. So I make the standard sort of 11 1/4 by 13-inch project bags. So these are about 9 by 9 or 9 1/2 by 9 1/2. So they will slip into a project bag. This one I put this little banding on the top of the pockets, but to be honest, although it looks cool looking at it like this with nothing in it, when you put your floss in it, I think it takes it away a little bit. So right there, he sort of lost the number and it sort of interrupts the color. Whereas in these ones without the banding, it's really easy to see the color and the number. So although this looks cool, I think this is much more practical and functional. So I think when I make more of these, I'm going to leave this banding off. We'll just have the binding around the edge. There's white felt in behind here, so it helps, you know, to keep the floss from just slipping out like it might if it was just fabric. And I like the white background because again the colors really pop when you have them on there. And it's double-sided, so there's 16 pockets here, so you get 32 total with one of these. So yeah, so I'm going to be adding these to my shop in the next week or two, along with another product that I've been developing that I will show you at a future date. So that's a little sneak peek into my Etsy shop. My last segment that I usually like to share is a craft from the past. And I'm running short. I can't think of a whole lot of other things that I haven't shown you already, but I'll keep digging them up as long as I can, and when I run out, then we just won't have this segment anymore. But so my one this time, a craft from the past. So I've loved crafts from the time I was little. I can always remember, you know, making things, and I used to love in public school, and we used to have electives where, you know, they'd spend a few weeks, and say on a Thursday afternoon, you would go and do a particular elective, whether that was swimming or floor hockey, or I would always look for the electives that were craft related. So I can remember doing like liquid embroidery. I don't know if anybody knows what that is anymore. And, you know, making Christmas ornaments. I remember making like lifesaver men that you could hang on your tree kind of thing. So I used to just love doing crafts from the time I was little. And when I went to high school, you know, one of the classes you could take was art. Well, that was a no-brainer. Why wouldn't I take an art class if I could? So yeah, I know one year I was honored that they included one of my pictures that I had done in art class in our yearbook. It was kind of a fun project that we had done, because you had to create a picture, or we were recreating a picture. I think everybody had you know, a photo or something that they were going off of, but the whole thing was created using dots. And there's probably a name for this, and I can't remember, and I didn't look it up. But this whole picture, there's no lines. Everything is dots. So if it's darker shading, there's more dots. If it's lighter shading, there's less dots. So. And look, it's a horse. Surprise, surprise. So that was my picture. They spelt my name wrong. Chris only has one S on the end. I was in grade 9. That was a long time ago, people. But it was really fun to have that included in the yearbook. Anyway, that's my craft from the past. So that's everything that I have to share with you today. Thank you again. As I said, I will try and include previous photos of projects if I have them. And I'll also include some close-up photos of everything at the end if you want to see something in a little bit more detail, or if you want to pause it to look at it. If you have any questions about anything, just leave them down below. And yeah, feel free to join in with Merry Mania or Stitch All the Horses Sal in July, and we can have a lot of fun together. But thank you again, everybody. I really appreciate the time you take to stop by and visit. It means a lot to me. And it just gives me a great opportunity to share something that I love with people that get me. So thank you very much. Bye, everybody. See you later.